In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 best bloodlines for damage in Shindo life. For number 10, this is going to be Bankai Akuma. Now, Bankai Akuma is kind of a busted one in my opinion, and a lot of people don't use Bankai Akuma. A lot of people used to use Bankai Akuma before when Shinobi Life 2 was a thing, before the copyright strike and everything. Bankai Akuma now is so good, and a lot of people don't use it, even though it's got a full Sensano. And his moves is going to be a Shadow Hawk, and then it's a Black Flame Blast, and then it's a Genjutsu. So you can put somebody in a Genjutsu, do the combo with a M1s because it has a Sensano, and then do that Black Blast. Then it's going to be like 160, 170,000 damage, which is a ton of damage, especially given that Bankai Akuma has a true spirit form, so it has that final form that's a full Sensano that does a ton of damage, plus it's Q-Spec for the final form, so really any full Sensano in Shindo Life does a ton of damage. So this is going to be going into number 10 spot. It would have probably went into number 1 if it didn't receive all those nerfs, but since it received all those nerfs, it's going in our number 10 pick. For our number 9 pick, this is going to be Shindai Ren Goku. Now, Shindai Ren Goku is a very busted one. I still recommend this bloodline, especially to beginners, because its damage is something that shouldn't be looked under, because its damage is pretty spectacular. Its third move, which is a counter, does probably the most damage out of the entire kit. That's only because it sends clones out, and this is really effective. A lot of people don't know this, but it's really effective against bosses, so you can easily take half their health. So if you want to combine this with like Shadow with boss killing, you can do Shadow, Apollo Sand plus Shindai Ren Goku, and you will delete these bosses in like 5 seconds, especially if you use that counter with everything else. It's a phenomenal bloodline, and its form is really good as well, really good stats. The only thing is though is that the second form is pretty good. It's not the best. I think the first form is better only because of those M1s. You can combo them and they kind of stun a little bit, plus the other move, which is a meteor, which is kind of good. It's, it does like 60,000 damage, but you can combine that with the M1s and you're easily reaching about 100,000 damage just from one combo. But another thing is to mention is that it has a blue flame move, which the blue flame move is kind of not really that good, not really any combo potential you can do with the blue flame move. So do keep that in mind. The blue flame move is probably the worst move out of the entire kit for Shindai Ren Goku, but its Q-Spec is a stun as well, so you could probably do a couple M1s, stun them, and then do the counter, and you're easily reaching like 200,000 damage. It's that easy. Nice. For number 8, this is going to be Raiden Saberu. Now, Raiden Saberu, you might be a little surprised to see this one on. It doesn't have the greatest form, but it does have really good moves, and I'm only really putting this one here only because the immense combo potential it has. So the damage combo potential of Raiden Saberu is really high, especially if you combine this with like Vengeance moves when you can just stun, or if you combine this with like Code Gaiden, you can absolutely get a busted combo. This is one you kind of want to really like combo with other bloodlines. It's not the sort of bloodline that is going to really do terrific on its own. If you combine this with like Tengoku or something, those moves are really going to come in. I would just probably pretty much avoid the form because the form is really not that good. So just keep that in mind. Raiden Saberu's form is mediocre at best, but its moves are really something that should not be looked over. Coming in our number 7 pick, this is going to be Rell. Now, you might be wondering why I put Rell here. I was going to put it as an honorable mention, but just because of how much damage it does, I'm putting this in 7. I'm not putting this in number 1 because I feel as though, it's such a rare chance that a lot of people aren't going to be able to use this bloodline, but it's still a phenomenal bloodline, even though most people aren't going to be able to get it, but it does do the most damage out of all the bloodlines in Shindo Life, so definitely pick that one up. But I'm not going to cover this one too much, only because a lot of people don't have it. So for our number 6 pick, this is going to be Ren Shiki. Now, Ren Shiki is kind of an underrated bloodline in my opinion. A lot of people don't use this one, even though its second form, which is its Golem mode, is very busted and does a ton of damage. Especially useful in dungeon and boss killing, its second form is really good. So just keep that in mind. Its second form is really good. Its first form did get a rework a couple years ago, and don't get me wrong, its first form is pretty decent for damage. You can do quite a good amount of combos, but its second form, its Golem form, does a ton of damage. Really busted. It does require a boss drop, so do keep that in mind. That is the only con with this bloodline, similar to Bankai Akuma, where you need to kill the boss to get the Akuma spirit. You need to kill the Ren Shiki boss, and this can be quite a hard boss to kill, especially if you don't have private servers or you don't have the right combo. But if you do get this form, it's definitely worth it. Coming in our number 5 pick, this is going to be Tengoku. Now, Tengoku is a bit of an interesting one. only because Tengoku has really good moves, but it comes at a cost. Its cooldowns are very long, and the chi requirement is quite high. So if you're level 4 to 500, I would not recommend picking up this bloodline, but Tengoku does do a ton of damage. It's probably one of the most damaging bloodlines in Shindo life. But like I said, it has those cons that keep it back, and its form, it's really honestly surprising. Its form and its moves are good. Some of these bloodlines, the moves are good and its form is really not that good, like its second form is really good, similar like with Ren Shiki and Raiden and Saberu. Some of the forms and moves are not that good, but Tengoku is just a solid bloodline, especially for high damage all the way through with its form and everything. Before, if it did not get its rework, I would not even be recommending it, but since it did get that rework, Tengoku is a phenomenal bloodline. Coming in at our number 4 pick, this is going to be Boraki Gaiden. Now, Boraki Gaiden is a really good one. It's really only good for its form, which is kind of unfortunate. Its moves aren't bad, but its form does so much damage that it's going in the number 4 pick. It is a phenomenal one. Definitely pick up Boraki Gaiden. It is a really solid one. Its form, its stat points for its form are really good as well. I think it clocks in at almost 3,000 with everything, which is pretty good, honestly, considering everything. Coming in our number 3 pick, this is going to be Snake Man. Now, Snake Man, a lot of people don't use, which is kind of unfortunate, even though it does like a ton of damage. Snake Man does like 100,000 damage easily. Its M1s are really good, and its moves are really good as well. The form is alright, but its moves is really where it shines at. Don't get me wrong, the Q-Spec is pretty good, but its form, its moves is really where Snake Man shines. So do keep that in mind, that it has a lot of combo potential. This is similar to Raiden Saberu, where it's got a lot of combo potential with other bloodlines, so this is why it's kind of going in there. Even though it is the highest damage, combo potential is really high, so I feel as though Snake Man deserves to be in the number 3 pick. But tell me what you think. For number 2, this is going to be Eisen Season, if I said that correctly. So Eisen Season is almost went into the number 1 pick, but I felt another bloodline deserves to be in that spot, so I didn't put that into number 1. But Eisen Season is really good. Its mode is absolutely busted. You can easily do tons of damage with this bloodline. It's easily one of the most highest damage bloodlines. You can easily do a combo, and like literally one move does like 100,000 damage. So it is literally like a super busted bloodline. I definitely recommend picking it up because it is definitely one of those bloodlines you don't want to miss out, even though it's really not that hard to get. I think it's like a 1 out of 150, and it might have a skin. I might be wrong on that one. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely don't pass up on Eisen Season. For our number 1 pick, this is going to be Code Gaiden. Now, you might have seen this one coming. I was 50-50 on putting this one putting Eisen Season above Code Gaiden, but I felt as though that Code Gaiden just does so much damage. Everybody pretty much uses this bloodline, so it does a ton of damage. It's absolutely busted. Code Gaiden is the best bloodline in Shindo life. I've said this before on my other top 10s that Code Gaiden is similarly going to probably be put in a lot of number 1 list for best bloodlines, and I put this I think I put Code Gaiden at number 1 for my other top 10 tier list. And once again, Code Gaiden is number 1. Its moves is like you can teleport. It's kind of like Boraki with the teleportation. You can teleport, and then it has a counter move similar to Shindai Ren Goku, where it sends out clones, and this is way better than Shindai Ren Goku because it does a ton of more damage. So Code Gaiden is a really busted one. I would definitely pick this one up. If you get anything out of this tier list, get Code Gaiden, and definitely get one that could support Code Gaiden. Like recommended one I would recommend picking up would kind of be if you combine Shindai Ren Goku and Code Gaiden, you can get a busted combo, especially if you use both of the counters. It is pretty busted, especially when it comes to boss killing and PvP. Code Gaiden shines in that as well, especially with damage. Code Gaiden is really the bloodline to get, and especially with how many combos you can do with Code Gaiden, it's just simply the easiest pick. Alright guys, so that's going to be the entire video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.